Calvin T. Mann, leading Emmy, served over 20,000 youth through speaking, coaching, and mentoring. He has inspired us for years. Welcome to Emmy TV Podcast with your host, Calvin T. Mann, the Encourager.
Doop 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 doop. Yeah. Back in the building. Yes, it's the EMIY podcast. Can't hold still. Can't wait. It's just exciting to be in the building, to be live. Good to see my brother L. Last week the ladies took over.
Yeah, they took over.
Yeah, they they think it's funny. Right? I watched them. Right? I watched them. They think it's funny when they take over, but I love them, right?
They had a good show.
And they do a good show, right? And that's why, the second week is dedicated to them, right? We're going to do some more things in doing what we do. And just excited. Today in the building, my guy, we go back to when I started Good Fathers Only, when I had the first Good Fathers Only jacket, the whole nine. And this one today, prepare yourself, because this is a serious conversation we're going to have today. This human trafficking story is one of redemption, success, but at the same time, a vision. God knew what he was doing, and this is going to be very, very interesting. Before we get into it, I gotta, laugh. Everybody and their mama TikToking, right? Yeah. Hey man, everybody TikToking. Hey man, I seen an old lady, literally. I'm talking about, she got to be in the 80s. Inbox me on my Facebook and say, I like to dance too. And then she showed her TikTok dog. I said, this is just too funny. Then I saw the TikTok the other day where, man, y'all missed this one. It's a dude, him and his girl, right? Look like they about to get busy, and then the roach jump out. The roach jump out like, damn, right? The roach go in, right? It's hilarious. I have laughed at this video every day the last 5 days. I think it's the funniest thing, because you see the brother on he do this like, oh, and then the roach was like, oh, this what you about to do? This your woman? Right. Man, she finer than the one you had here the other day. Right? I know I'm supposed to hide. That's what hey man.
Oh dang.
Hey man, it was incredible. Right? Mm. So that's that. What's up, L?
What's going on?
How you doing? I like your hat, brother.
Hey, this is my winter hat, man. It never fails me.
No, it's cold. It's cold. You need that.
Yeah.
I know. I came in without it. It's because I got out of the new vehicle. Nice and warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been working for me for a decade.
Oh yeah. Oh, then you winning.
Yeah. So I'm keeping it until it can't be worn no more.
Right. Yeah.
It's only worn during the winter, so it got like a good 3 months a year. You know what I'm saying? Where I may have to have it out. Not even 3 months sometimes. So, but
okay.
Yeah, but I'm here, man. It's a good day. You know what I'm saying? The year's starting off pretty good.
Yeah.
So no complaints. It's interesting that today you're talking about human trafficking. I've been posting about this young lady that disappeared the first week of January. Her family's still looking for her. And basically her cousin set her up.
Wow.
And acting like he don't know where she at. He lied and said he hadn't seen her since October, but he picked her up. And they were supposed to be hanging, and then she disappeared and never came back to her family.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I've been sharing it, you know what I'm saying, on my page, on the Groove Radio Detroit page. Shared it on Facebook.
Yeah, I
People
shared
sharing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it was real bad. After I seen her mother, you know, seen her interview, I was like, and it's crazy because the first thing I thought when I first saw the post, because I saw it from somebody else who posted it on Twitter, and I was like, and it's crazy because the ladies was here last week, and what's her name? Was it Rochelle? Yeah, she was like, this is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and I was like, wow. And literally after they left, and I was on my phone, and I saw the picture of this little girl, only 17. And I looked at one of the other pictures that they posted, and I'm like, yeah, she fit because, like, she young, but she look old enough to...
Right. Be trafficking. Fighting for a life. Well,
they traffic children younger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, they definitely do. Yeah, they do. But she's 17, you know what I'm saying? She had just got off work. She still had her work uniform on.
And the cousin picked her up. Oh, yeah, some people got to have... He in trouble.
Well, he ain't in trouble yet. The mama's still fighting. She trying to figure out why Detroit and East Point ain't brought him in yet and you know, kept him.
He ain't ran yet?
I don't know.
Yeah, he know what the deal is. That's a snake.
Yeah, that's terrible, man.
That's terrible. People do anything for money, man.
Yeah.
Money causes a lot of people to lose their life. Anyway, brother Deven Tucker, Deep T, Dynamite to the fullest. I just came up with that one.
Yeah,
that was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, brother, take us from the top. You know, we collaborating, working, laughing. Today, happy birthday, brother.
Appreciate
happy birthday.
It. Oh, happy birthday to you, man.
Yeah, happy birthday to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we running in late from lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell everybody who you are and give them an understanding of who you are and where you come from.
Name's Deven. Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and I'm someone that's still fighting with myself like everybody else, if that makes sense. In doing so and speaking and saying that, the project that we're currently working on, me, Calvin, and a few others, a part of the team, it's called The Greatest Fear. Because as much as you want success, it's the same as you fear it. Human trafficking definitely plays a major role in that, and we're gonna basically talk about that, like that experience.
Yeah.
And
how you came in and how you got out, and
right.
We most definitely we know God was in the mess.
Yeah. So it started with a lot of childhood like neglect. Ripping and running the streets, living in abandoned buildings, kind of caused me to take a different direction in life. If that makes sense. It's just like any other childhood, how coming up in poverty-stricken communities and becoming a product of their environment can cause you to take different directions. You don't want to. It's just your everyday survival. I went from living in abandoned buildings to shelters and coming out of the Covenant House right on Martin Luther King Boulevard, walking right out, going into what I thought was, well, outside of jail.
Right.
I didn't even mention that, but just the whole life of, been shot, stabbed, locked up. The whole. I don't like to really go into detail about the whole. I feel like people glorify their testimony too much when it comes to violence and just the things they did, whether it's drug dealing or whatever, and it's just like it's an unnecessary thing. Like, why is that so intense, and why is it so emphasized?
To touch on that very point, right?
Yeah.
What you just said, to touch on that very point, because they reward it. Your hood rewards that. The community rewards all the stuff. It's like, it's crazy, but that's what they are rewarding. So that's why it's it's glorified. That's why it's glorified. But go ahead.
Yeah. I just don't see a need for it. Just because my reward is in heaven. Like, I don't. And like, even outside of that, to glorify your past is just like you stuck in your past. Like, you're happy with what you once were, as if you would go back to that. Like, view me in a different manner of, other than me where I'm at now. Because where I'm at now, even though I'm in a good place, it's not good enough on how you perceive me. Like, do you know who I am? And it's like, you forget you don't have a legacy. You're a part of a legacy. You don't have a testimony. You're a part of a testimony. You are not your own. And that's where we forget. Like, the moment you accept Christ is the moment you're no longer you. You have free will, but even Paul said, I have no right of my own. I have no will of my own. I'm a bound servant of Jesus Christ. So, but to get back on topic with the whole human trafficking thing, it's those past things that led to me being trafficked. It all started when I walked out of Wayne County and I wound up signing up to basically join a magazine crew that I thought was a magazine crew that traveled state to state. I was very excited about it because I come from nothing. I just left Wayne County, then Martin Luther King Boulevard out there at the Covenant House. And so, like, all I've seen my whole life was being in a struggle. So for you to tell me you get to travel all over the U.S., and we pay for your food, we pay for your expenses, your hotels, and all of that. It just was like, wait a minute, I ain't never left the city, like and I get paid for it. So like, to let you have a poverty-stricken mind, and then you are at your lowest. Your house been raided, your homeboys ain't answering their phone, you ain't got no like type of resource, no connection. Like, everybody who you thought loved you
didn't.
Exactly. So now it's like, all right, well, where do I go from here? So when this opportunity gets presented, it's like, you think you hit jackpot. So I'm excited. And my first week on the road, we're out here like selling books and magazines or whatever that people never got. Like, the first state I landed in from Detroit, it was Wisconsin. And people never got their books and magazines. And I remember not, like, selling enough. And this is, like, when reality kind of, like, kicked in. Like, this is when, like, it got real. They're like, hey, how are you going to make up for your payments? Like, what are you talking about? They're like, well, we provide the utensils, so that has to be paid for. We provide for your travel to go sell books and magazines, so that has to be paid for. We provide for your food, your hotel stay, and your travel and all these things. And so how are you gonna pay for that? Because you haven't been making enough sales. I don't know. Like, I'm out of my element to begin with. So now, not understanding, but this first phase of human trafficking is a form of bondage, because now I'm bound by what I owe. Like, You know, like I'm thinking like, oh, it's about to go. Like it's like, nah, you gonna pay another way. Held at gunpoint in a hotel, forced to have sex with other people.
So, and when you look at this, the dynamic, right? Because we always, we look at it in a way, right? Like in a way, like is human trafficking is either or. No, this is a multi-million-dollar business, billion-dollar business.
It's a $40 billion business off the back of millions. So your identity is stripped. So excuse me, because I when I start to reflect, I just it gets a little hard to relive like these conversations. And
you can stop anytime you're ready, bro. Yeah, we can pivot anytime. That's no problem. The point that we are having a discussion and was the point that people, everything that we put out. Just today, give you an example. I told you this earlier. Today about awareness, right? We yell and scream that what is happening. What we've been hearing lately. When did we start killing babies? Right? When did we start killing babies? Well, statistics show since probably pretty much the 70s, you've been killing babies, right? The number 2 way for a child, 1 to 4 to die, is homicide. You've been killing babies, right? So when you say things like that, you're not privy to, proper information. That's the male and the female child, right? 1 to 4. Right, so we already know the boy is in trouble. 5 to 11, suicide. But looking at those numbers, homicide is sitting there. Even for young females, the homicide is sitting there, 2nd and 3rd spot.
Yeah,
it's sitting there.
So there's there's a soul tie and there's a source to like everything. Like, what would make a man want to kidnap other men and children? Like, so. The fact that people are willing to pay for child exploitation or any sexual favors goes back to like, well, where did that come from? And you start to backtrack. So like pornography, like that's a source of human trafficking. Strip clubs is a source of human trafficking. I say that to say this: the lust of the eye that creates stimulation, endorphins in the body. Like the addiction becomes so strong to where you feel like I'm going to do whatever it takes to get sex. And then it just like your brain will go haywire to take a child or, kidnap a female or a male or whatever. Like it's so past the point of like, what happened? There was a guy, right, who shot up the, this was like, couple of years ago, I believe. He shot up the Chinese parlors out in was it Atlanta, I believe. The young white boy. He was saying he was tired of his. This was his confession to the sheriff. He said he was tired of his addiction, and he was paying for happy endings, basically at these parlors, at these massage parlors.
Okay.
Yep, I remember.
So to get rid of his addiction, or he thought like to end it, was to go shoot up these parlors where he was spending his money and all of that. Like that lets you know like it's a serious because who knows where it would have took him. Mm-hmm. Like it's deeper than just like
I remember that.
Yeah. But what you learn in this, at least is what it's taught me, that the dollar bill has no discrimination. Like, it doesn't. Money doesn't discriminate.
No.
So it doesn't matter what your preference is or what you're doing. Like, if it comes to $1, whatever it takes, it'll happen.
It's right along what you just said about the addiction. It draws, you know. It's what was the drug dealer addicted to? Money, easy money. What was the fiend addicted to? Giving us money for the drug, right? Didn't have any principles, any standards. This is why back in the day the mob didn't want to mess with you, because you had no principles or standards. None. Still today. When it comes to this process, human trafficking, drug dealing, all of that, you had no principles or no honor, no code, right? Because exactly what he just said about money. You know, principle, I'll do whatever it takes, you know, for this money. So, you know, I don't value you. You know, I don't see the value.
Right. It's crazy because the amount of money that is spent on child exploitation or human trafficking, people making hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars off of me. You would have never thought, like, I would have never thought somebody's going to make some money off me having sex to another person. Like, not caring about that person's identity, the psychological battles, the pain, if you even get a chance to be free, because not a lot of people make it. Like, that's the thing that, like, that's why it's important to have these talks on podcasts, radios, TV stations. I don't care. Like, it needs to be addressed and exposed, because there's people who are currently going through the same thing that may have an outlet to listen and don't know, like, how to get free. Like, they, you know, or they don't have the courage to express, hey, I went through that and I really need help. And I'm like, I'm telling you, like, go get help, because it's okay. Like, I had to go through therapy. I had to take medication, like, everything. You know, like, mental health is so important. Any type of trauma, go get that help, because it's it'll hurt you in the long run if you don't. And you'll always be misunderstood. Nobody will understand you for who you are and what you are, and you know, and you don't want it to be that way, but sometimes it's hard to, like, express yourself like how you really want, like how you should articulate it. And so the best way to go about it is to go get that help. So I'm big when it comes to therapy and all of that.
So the great thing about the part where you were rescued, right? Because like we were just talking, how you who do you trust? Where do you go? who the hell really looking out for me, right? Who can rescue me, right? Where is this at, right? Because like you said, you don't know who, what, because now you don't trust. Everything has been taken off the table. I don't trust none of y'all,
right?
Period. So talk about the part when you when you escape.
All right, so Florida abolitionists are the people who pretty much helped me escape. There was a family that worked with them that pretty much, like, take me in. I was hesitant. Like, I was like they gave me a number and everything to call, and I'm like, man, I'm not about to like, I'm not about to do this. Like, this is just what, because I don't know who you are, right. You know. And how I approached them with, you know, this was like the labor side of traffic. It wasn't the sex. It was just door-to-door sales, just making my normal rounds in Florida. And I remember coming to this door. Before I could even get to the door, a young lady named Regina walked up, and she had garbage bags or whatever, taking out the trash. So she starts praying for me, and then she gives me a number. So, like, what's crazy is, though, I was paying attention to this number. It had the same cell phone number, which was my first cell phone number, but a different area code. And I was like, oh, man. what's going on? Like, what's happening? And then her parents came out, and they pretty much were like, you know, if you want help, if you want out, like, call this number. And so I was like, okay, we gonna see how this works out. I came back to the hotel late that night. So here's the thing, if you're not on time, you get questioned for everything. Who are you with? Who did you talk to? Who did you, like, you know, you got a van that's constantly doing routes and following you. And people are making sure that you're not slipping. Like, you're not snitching. You're not. That night, I took a beating. I got hit, pretty hard. Because I guess things that I was saying just wasn't adding up. I'm lying basically to try to cover my tail, but it's not like nothing is adding up. Typically we get back in those vans at around 5 o'clock. I didn't get back into the van until like 7 or 8. It's nighttime. So that was a problem. And after taking that beating is when I made up my mind. I was like, I'm gonna call him. So I pretty much act like it was a regular day. I went ahead and put on my suit, my dress shoes, and I went to go do these regular door-to-door sales. And I want the first door, I just, hey, I'm not here to sell you anything. I just need to use your phone. And door shut, door shut, door shut. The only person that let me use her phone was a mom who was just butt naked. And I thought I was being like pranked or like this was some type of joke. But I remember seeing her baby off to the side, sleep. So I'm like, oh, okay, she just whatever. But I'm gonna use the phone. That was the only thing that made me trust her, because I'm thinking this may be a setup. So I grabbed the phone, I called a number, and they're like, meet me at McDonald's on such and such. Literally, I kid you not, I go, take off, running, hit the McDonald's, and I'm just waiting. I swear that wait was long. It was only 15 minutes, but it felt like 15 years. Because I'm thinking if this van comes back around and they don't find me, and then they do start looking at different, the nearest stops. Because mind you, they only give us $5 a day to live off of.
Wow.
So you picture you are being trafficked and you only got $5 a day to eat or for your hygiene. You don't have any identification. If you're in a hotel with 5 other men, if you are the last one to use the shower, you think that hotel sample bottle of soap and shampoo gonna be there? So this is detailed actuality. I was so skinny from lack of nutrition, walking every day, sex every day. And then living off of $5 a day. And then yet I'm in debt too, because I owe for utensils, gas, all these things. So, and I've watched people get beat for trying to escape. Left in the Walmart parking lot, just damn near dead. What am I gonna do? I make the phone call. I'm waiting, and I'm thinking about all these things that I've experienced and going through, and I need that outlet. I need it. So I'm just waiting. That's like I want to say the biggest risk I've ever taken in my life. Or at least that's what it felt like. And when I got in that Chevy black Tahoe with the black tinted windows, took off. I was like, yeah. My first couple of weeks, I did not experience freedom, even though I was free. And mentally, like I wasn't. Like, it's 90 degrees in Florida and I'm wearing a hoodie because I'm afraid that they're going to come around again. Like, I'm wearing fully clothed. It's 90 degrees. Now, I'm from the north. It's 90 degrees and I'm wearing a hoodie, some sweatpants. I'm completely covered because I'm still not free yet. This is where we start coming into like the greatest fear, because like doesn't matter like how successful you are, you could be afraid of yourself because you deal with a lot of shame. You know, you can say you forgive yourself, but like without forgetting it, it's still gonna be there. That's just the truth. Like, I don't care how many times you wrestle with it, like you just don't stop fighting. That's how I look at it. Like, as long as you don't stop fighting, you on the right path.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. It's that success doesn't come without a fight, right? And those fights are generally within yourself, then the gatekeepers, then the naysayers, then it's back to yourself, and right. And one of the things that you have to do is you have to be very strategic in how you talk to that thing.
Yeah.
In yourself, right? Self-talk is good talk, but when you apply faith to it and you talk to the thing that it's supposed to, it kind of makes it park itself so you can have control over it, right? And some days you lose. We were just talking about this. Some days you lose, but the good part, right? What, to go into this next segment, what are the signs? What are things people should look for? Right, and looking at people who they might be able to help, right? Because we all should be looking to help with the to counter this human trafficking, right? Because it's not right. You still got the ignorant. You're still talking about they don't want to be a police officer, yet you want to spend your life of crime and things like that. But we gotta help everybody,
right?
We gotta help, right? That's the title of the next track, of course, but we got to help. That's the next track we will release. I'm releasing, right? And because it's we have got to do better with each other and protecting each other.
It's
right?
a matter of you got to pay attention. Pay attention to people's behavior when it comes to being sex trafficked or being labor trafficked. They're giving you signs. They're looking you in your eyes. They're giving you hints. Well, if we blind to it, that's it. They go right back. Hotel keys. What's a child doing with a hotel key at that age by himself or herself out and about? Like, that's another sign. Another sign is if they're out there and they are selling books and magazines, or they're just out and about, solicitation. Do you have a permit? Why don't you have a permit? Then it's not legit. Like, pay attention to the vans that pull up. If there's no windows or the windows are so black that you can't see in and you see people coming out of it, yeah. Where's your identification? You don't have no ID. You don't have nothing to identify who you are, and you're in a whole nother state. Like, this is happening in our own backyard
right now. It's
yeah, it's big,
and
the numbers are ridiculous.
Not every child, not every young adult or adult is going to want to be free. You have mental bondage where people think like, no, this is how it's supposed to be. Like this is my life. You know, like they psych them up and be like, yeah, like where is she gonna go? Where's like when you're taking poverty stricken people, like that you just went from worse to worse. Or worser, I don't know if worse is a word. But like it's like, well, if I go, where am I gonna go back to?
Right.
Nothing. I don't have any identification. My own clothes on back won't fit me because I'm like mad skinny. I don't have my birth certificate, my socials, none of that. Like, what am I gonna do? I haven't lived anywhere for years. I've been just living from hotel to hotel to hotel. I don't have an address. I don't have like, where am I gonna get my start over? Who's gonna help me with that? So now, like, do I even want my freedom? Like, or am I just better off just traveling and just being used? Because there is a point where you start to accept as a reality, like, this is what it should be. Even though it shouldn't, but, like, you've been conditioned for so long to be a slave, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that you don't... To have freedom is taboo because you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, that is a statement in itself. To have freedom is taboo because you don't know what to do with it. That's a statement in itself. The other thing is this region. This is the number 2 region in the country for human trafficking because of the Canadian Bridge, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Right. Some of the other signs is not changing clothes.
Yeah.
Having to repeat the same clothes
you
every
wear
day.
the same thing. You could tell by the smell, like when I mentioned,
Yeah.
if you're the last one to take a shower, that little shampoo bottle and that little bar of soap, like, there ain't nothing left. So you're going to smell. The clothes on your back, they're not going to fit anymore. Look how much weight you've lost on just physical activity. You're physical all during the day and you're physical all during the night. Can you picture walking miles? You're walking for miles, door to door, in dress shoes and sweatpants with a belt and a button-up and a tie and a blazer. And it doesn't matter if it's raining hell or it doesn't matter if it's sunny. You gotta walk because you're being followed. Then to not make quota to change again, only to be raped or to be sold against your own will. Like,
some sick people out here. Very sick. Money got a lot of people sick. People doing anything. Sick. It's not enough heat on the pedophiles, in my opinion. There's not enough heat on this, and it's just ridiculous. So, on the good side, who is Deven Tucker, the artist?
I'm just a servant. It's simple. I can't, like, I don't know any other way to put it other than I'm an artist, but I'd rather for my reflection to be my walk. I feel like artists talk too much. Yeah. if that makes sense, because that's just what it is.
Well, it makes sense to you, right?
Yeah.
And it's something because of what you've been through. How you navigate is going to be different anyway. You know what I mean? It's just that's just the way it is. You know, sometimes when people go through things, then that's a great
because
understanding.
my identity is not in my artistry.
No,
it's in my walk, and so it's like
right.
Yeah,
it's not right, but it's still a gift that you're profoundly saying things. Excuse me, that needs to be said, right? And just like how you did 6'4", right? And you took the track, and you talk about how the Holy Spirit bounced.
Yeah.
Right? Just how you took that and how because the Holy Spirit, having the Holy Spirit will cause you to bounce and speak, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's just the thing, and a lot of people don't understand it or get it.
Yeah.
Because they can't relate to it because they have such a non-belief type setting. They've been conditioned to not believe because everybody around them who professes
Christ don't
they don't live it and emulate it. They use it to
depart from me, Pharisees, workers of iniquity. People speak of me, but their hearts are far from me. It's like, well, I cast out demons in your name. It's like, no, I never knew you. Hey, that's like to be told by a royal bloodline, like from your father, the King of heaven, like of everything, like to be told that I never knew you.
Yeah.
The creator of everything made a statement of I never knew. So you mean to tell me you created this whole world and you don't know me and I'm in it and you made someone that you never knew?
Yeah.
Shh.
That's
a bold statement.
That's a bold statement. It's heavy because you are the work with niggas. Just like how we was talking Jeremiah 23:1, right? And how that whole thing, because I think that should be the name of that track because it hit. That's what I was saying. But the fact is that
you talking about what's your conviction?
Yeah, what's your conviction? Right? It hit, but woe unto the pastors.
Yeah.
Right? And so how you look at certain things and the things that you say is just, it's nice, it's refreshing, and it's good, and you got a good heart, man. For me, that's everything because, the fact that you understand about helping people, right? And just like you say, going back.
Well, who taught me that?
You tell me, brother.
You and Uncle Mark.
Yeah.
When I got free, I remember going to ministry school, right straight out of human trafficking, going straight into ministry school, and they were like, live what you talk about. Like, we don't just read the Bible, we go out and we do it. Yep, Resound Missions Base. And we had literally just got done reading about healing the sick, raising the dead, and just going out to the highways and byways. And so, like, right after reading all of that, literally, that's exactly what we went to go do. Like, we went to go evangelize. We went to go hit the streets. I'm like, hold up. Nah. Like, are you serious right now? And, but what got me was when I went out there, the empathy started to hit really hard because I saw people who were in my shoes. I'm like, dang, I remember that. I remember smelling like that. I remember stealing. I remember doing all these things for survival before human trafficking even hit. Like, I remember these things.
Parenting. All right? Parenting.
So, who am I to, like, it becomes selfish to have knowledge and wisdom and to be free and then not, like, pay it forward.
Oh,
like,
you gotta share. You gotta share. Today I said, be a blessing to someone today. Right? This is what this day should have been about. Be a blessing to someone today. Today we celebrated your birthday, young man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yep, and sometimes, sometimes we don't don't get that, right? Sometimes we don't, me, L, fathers, and he's a dad, right? So sometimes we don't value ourselves, we don't celebrate ourselves, we don't, and so because we don't say what it means to us, it don't mean jack to nobody else. You know what I mean? So that's why you got to raise the volume on yourself. That's why, when I come out the shower, I'm dancing, shaking, popping, right? Because, and I'm singing, I'm cold. I'm cold-blooded. Don't get me started, because that's one of the coldest hooks I ever came up with, right? But my point is, since, how important is that, right? So his story being different, my story being one of which I was told to tell myself, right? I was pointed toward the mirror and told to value myself as a child, right? I was taught those things, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of us, this is why I'm going back to the parenting. Parenting is a problem within cultures. It's a major problem. We do a poor job of keeping balance on our kids. Maybe because 43% of us don't know who the father really is. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the behavior, right? Maybe it's like my man said today, and I can't tell you how many times I said this, but having lust babies. Babies that, babies that made off of lust. Drive-by, side pieces, all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I find abortion as a contraceptive is ignorant, because we forget the reaping process. We forget that God is out here and you're going to reap what you sow. Right? And so when you go and you look at these numbers and you see these things, we have a major, major issue when it comes to parenting. Our children are getting balanced. Men are not getting balanced. Men are growing up. Women are not getting balanced. So I might be too much. I might be not enough, right? And these are the things that we bring children into this world, and then we say, right, you no good. So I don't want you around my child. Like as if, I was carrying that boy in my sack long before you even had a chance to get to him.
Right.
And this society has lost their way because we have placed such a high process on the womb and not the scrotum. And to me, that's where the disconnect begins, because we're not valuing the first seed carrier, as God said what man's supposed to do. So that's just me getting on my horse for a second, L, right? Because, I think it's important that I had these conversations, because I know this is the lane that I'm in, and so I'm going to drive this boy. And a lot of people just, a lot of us are not understanding how valuable you are.
Right.
Because we've allowed society to say, boy, bye.
So I went through that experience, and far as experiencing real freedom, that's not I didn't experience real freedom until I realized self-value, identity crisis, and going through all of that, struggling to figure out who I am, what I am, even dealing with family, back and forth with not being there or being there. It's just, there's no freedom until you really understand what self-love is. That's just true. I walked in a lot of shame, blamed myself for a lot of things. And it wasn't until I started to forgive myself, and going through a lot of healing process. That's the reason why I'm so, again, strict on getting, having mental health. You need to get that right, because it'll cause you to, you can't really enjoy life with having a ill mind, if that makes sense. You can't, you don't, there's no freedom in that. You are trapped in here and you are not allowed to freely express how you want to express. I spent my whole life, because I felt like I was a slave to everything around me in society and was a slave. I had lived a life, even with being free from human trafficking, I had lived a life of serving other people and not myself. I had lived a life of thinking about others more than me, helping others more than me. I didn't have any self-love. I lived for other people. And I got to a point eventually where when and where does this stop? Like you do know that you are killing yourself. Like living for other people, you are killing yourself on the inside, which is causing you to be more suicidal, self-inflictions, because nothing you're doing right now is helping you out. And it wasn't until I stopped caring about what other people think, what other people say, like it's okay to live for yourself. It's okay to have that balance of self-love and being proud of who and what you are, regardless of people starting to say, well, who are you to know? Like, I don't care anymore. Like, that's when that freedom starts to happen. You know, at least for me, that's when it began. When I started to really value myself and not devalue myself. I started to understand my worth.
So, tell everybody where they can reach you at, Dad.
It's real simple. Facebook is Deven Tucker, Deven Tucker. And then my Instagram is I am the real _DT. I just had to do a new Instagram because my Instagram got hacked.
Yeah, oh yeah, they hacking.
Yeah, I had, like, my fan base is extremely low now because they're like, well, wait a minute. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I had to create another account. People were telling me, like, is this you asking for money and Bitcoin this and Bitcoin that? And I'm like,
man,
no.
These scammers.
Yeah,
Boy.
I tried to get back into my account through my email and everything, and I still had, like, no trace. And then I don't know the information to, like, call, like, if Instagram has a phone number you can contact, but, like, I just was like, well, I'm just gonna start a new account and whatever happens.
Yeah, Instagram is terrible. Instagram and Facebook. Once you get hacked, you pretty much it's a done deal.
Yeah, when you get hacked, it's hard to get back. It is. Once they get
Because they got this thing now, like they'll, get it hacked where they'll start the process. Instagram and Facebook, they automatically send you an alert.
Yeah.
And you click on this link thinking that you're going to be able to reset your password, but you really giving them access to your account when you click that link.
Right.
And so then they change the password to whatever they want to change it to.
This is what's crazy. My Instagram that's linked to my Facebook is completely different. Because I never signed through Instagram. I never signed through my Facebook. I did it separate. So that's the only reason why my Facebook didn't get hacked. And I know they were probably thinking, like, dang.
Well, it's understandable. I hired some people, and that's been the best thing for me because it's kept me off. I can come on and like what I want to like and get out of there, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, today being your birthday, Brother Dev, and looking at things, this is my commentary moment. I appreciate you coming on, man, sharing. I know we got a lot of work ahead of us. It's a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah.
Very, very busy. And I we come on to have these conversations. So, an understanding about what you've been through in human trafficking. One of the things, again, we will stress is family, right? And unfortunately, the story Elle just told of the person that picked up the young lady and they ain't picked him up, and whatever it is, the fact that you willing to even be remotely caught up in this story is shameful, right? The other part that goes along with this, the human trafficking and the messaging is we as families, we're not diligent, right? You look at these things and, I put a post up the other day and was asking, how much does your family support you? But every time I pick up a book from somebody else, another culture, another person or whatever, the first thing they say is family and friends, right? Family and friends sow seeds into their businesses. And I'm going, what is wrong, right? And then we have all this individualism, right? Makes us individual. We just want to be the only one, right? And to me, that's where you lose. If it's just you, bud, then we lose because one person can't fix this problem. You know what I mean? One situation can't fix these issues. There are multifaceted issues that we deal with every day, but more importantly, guess where it's starting at? It's starting at the family. Yep. It's starting when the child comes out the womb and is attached to a paycheck. And we talk about a number of paychecks. The system is so smooth. They put paychecks on a attention deficit, get pills, studies, surveys. I mean, like, they just everything. And so what happens is you get complacent because you chase those things instead of chasing your ideas and taking that one idea and creating opportunities for other. Your business can't just be your business. It's a we thing. But if you just make it a me thing, then it doesn't go as far as a we thing, right? Mm-hmm. To really just say how important it is for our children to have balance, having a conversation about men who can't talk men. Having a conversation about women who talk men. We're looking at the damage from parenting that is astronomical, right? Because a woman goes on a date and a man, he's looking for the woman to be his mama, right? He's sharing all these things for this woman. Right. She's looking for a man to be a man. Her idea of a man. So because she ain't really have a dad, she doesn't really know, so she looks around and she begins to wonder, oh, maybe that's a good idea. And so we have wolves in sheep's clothing, right? Yeah. Silver tongue, the silver tongue, right, whose integrity is out of whack, right? I come to the microphone and I can talk and they say, he has so much potential, but his integrity and everything else is garbage. And you go to bat for it. It's a poor vision for family, and we have to do better. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my message to you today. Yeah. Whatever you do, whatever you see, pay attention, look out, watch, pay attention to who's playing with your children. Pay attention to the things that you do in front of your children. Pay attention to how you guide your children. Pay attention to what you say to your children, because all of these things make up the value in your children. We have to be strategic when we become parents because you're up against a lot. And if you're not going to be strategic, your children is the one that is going to pay the price. With that being said, remember, METV, put your family first. My name is Calvin Mann, president of Encourage Me, I'm Young. God bless you and encourage me. I'm young. Peace.
I remember them family barbecues, cruising around Bella Park, tasting my favorite Patricia and Clark. She used to sit me in my cousin, yeah, and tell us we ain't cousins, we really brother. It's a blessing. Now that we grown, we tougher than ever. Even if it go from bad to worse, we still where we hurt. Make sure my baby girl tight, and make sure that I put our family first. Let's start the game over.